I want to start off by just thanking everybody. This was absolutely a team effort, and everybody's done a good job. We all have to understand that our state is very dry this year, and this is not going to be our last fire, unfortunately, unless we start getting a lot more rain. And state, local, and federal all work together well, and we've made a lot of progress. So I want to thank Jim Karels and the Florida Forest Service and Commissioner Putnam. You should be really proud of the Florida Forest Service. They're always going to show up and do a good job. I want to thank Greater Naples Fire Rescue, North Collier Fire Rescue, for all their hard work. I want to thank the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, the Collier Sheriff's Office, the Federal Park Service, Florida Highway Patrol, City of Naples Fire Rescue, City of Marco Island Fire Rescue, Florida Fish and Wildlife, and there's others that were helpful. But what you can be really proud of is everybody worked together well. If you look at anything like this happens, whether it's a fire, whether it's a hurricane, it really takes a lot of coordination. I want to thank at the state level, Bryan Koon's here. They were monitoring the situation, and Dan Summers and his team here at Collier County Emergency Operations Center did a great job, along with the city manager, EO.C. As we all know, when this started about now almost a week ago, on Tuesday, Commissioner Putnam gave me a briefing in my office. We started daily calls to make sure that there were no unmet needs, making sure there was all the coordination. There were a lot of things deployed, and I think some others are going to talk about that, but DEP deployed fire engines, but I think you'll hear that Florida Forest Service did a great job with the air assets, and the belief is we wouldn't be where we are with this fire if it wasn't for those air assets. We're blessed in that there was no serious injury. We lost 3 homes, and we have other homes that have been damaged. But the great thing is that there were no injuries. No injuries both in individuals around their homes, but also most important, individuals that are fighting the fire. There were no injuries. And if you remember, I think, Commissioner, was our first year in office, we lost 2 firefighters in sort of the northeast part of the state, which was horrible. It looks like we have a chance for some rain today and maybe tomorrow, maybe a little bit more on Monday. The sooner that rain comes, the better off we are. If we can keep the winds down, we're blessed right now. The winds have come down. When this started, we had pretty high winds, so that's a real positive. There's about 7,500 acres that have been impacted by this. The fire right now is 65% contained. We are making good progress, and people are working 24 hours a day on this. It's not something they're working sunlight to sunset. They're working all night. So we were real concerned that if it would have crossed the north side and gotten to the other side of I-75, there's a lot of homes, as we all know, mixed with a lot of trees, and that would have been very difficult. There were 2 spots up there, but those have been completely contained. The Emergency Operations Center here did a great job. They took over 6,000 calls. At one time, there were 100 people in the shelter. There's no individuals there now. And we have to understand that this is a dry year. It's a very dry year, so we're going to have to monitor this. You can go. The Florida Forest Service has information on wildfire protection and our prevention, and you can go to freshfromflorida.com to look to see how you can make sure you take care of both your dwelling and where you work. But think about it. I mean, it's dry, so get rid of any excess debris that might catch on fire. If you need to, make sure you keep things as moist as you can. At the same time, just monitor things. But we're blessed. Everybody worked together really well. We've got a great Florida Forest Service, but everybody did their job. So I'll turn it over to Commissioner Adam Putnam.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for your support. As I walked into his office to brief him on Tuesday that we had a serious fire in Southwest Florida and a number of fires across the state. In fact, at that time there were 60 fires burning at the same time across the state. As I was walking into the governor's office, I was handed a note that we had just closed down I-75, Alligator Alley. Obviously not something that we take lightly, and it remained closed for roughly 24 hours. So the wind and weather conditions that were our enemy in the early days of this event have receded, and our guys are gaining ground, and we believe the fire is roughly 65% contained, with favorable weather conditions for us to continue to gain ground on it today and throughout the weekend. As the governor said, and we can't thank he and his team at Emergency Management and all of our partners in local government, state, and federal resources that came together to make this event much less damaging than it could have been. The structural firefighters and the wildland firefighters with the Forest Service train and cross-train with each other so that when an event like this does run, they have seamless coordination, communications, they're speaking the same language, and they can respond in the most efficient way. But to just paint the picture of what this event was like, you know, we're looking at a week-long event that was moving at 30 miles an hour, throwing hot embers a half a mile in front of it, with 100-foot flames crowning at the treetops in the middle of the night, with so vastly outrunning the Dozers that are trying to put in fire lines. We're calling in 6 aviation assets, 3 helicopters, and 3 airplanes to save the hundreds of homes that made up one boundary of where the fire was moving toward. So it's extraordinary to consider. We're all accustomed to emergency operations centers opening up for hurricanes, but Florida being Florida, we go from one extreme to another. And so this is an extremely dry year. It is early in the year to be facing fires like this, and it is, I think, a very strong indication that we will be facing a very busy fire season, and we are asking homeowners and residents, particularly if you live in a neighborhood that has a wildland urban interface. In other words, if you've chosen to live in the woods, take some basic steps to protect your home from what will be a very dry and active wildfire season. If your gutters and your roof are piled up with pine needles, that's not a good thing. If you have palmettos that are growing up against the side of your house, that's not a particularly good thing. At minimum, get the dead, dry ones out of there and pile them up away from your house. Try to create what we call that defensible space. Mow the area around your house so that you can slow that fire down should it come to your neighborhood. And if you're in a community that historically has had fire issues, then please take those extra precautions. Don't burn your trash in your yard. Comply with all fire bans. Don't let the kids play with fireworks. Even watch out for hot mufflers on ATVs and other vehicles in high grass in some of these wild areas, because it really is a tinderbox out there. And while we hope to get a little bit of rain in the beginning of the week, it won't be enough to offset the drought conditions that we're facing. It will be enough to help us get a handle on this fire, but it doesn't mean that the season itself is going to be any better. We're projecting over the next several weeks, in fact, well into summer, drought-like conditions that will make for an active fire season. So I'm proud of the Florida Forest Service, but I'm more proud of all of our agencies who've responded, and the Collier County residents and businesses who've responded and rallied behind those who've lost their homes and are supporting our first responders, just like good neighbors do in the Sunshine State. So with that, Governor, I'll turn it over to Collier County Emergency Manager Dan Summers.
Thank you. Governor, thank you again. Commissioner, thank you, and to all the responders, once again, my sincere thanks. County Manager Oaks, along with our county commissioners that are here, Commissioner Fiala and Chairwoman Taylor, thank you all, because we used a lot of resources on the backside of Collier County government that folks didn't see on the street today, and I had a lot of team support, and that was wonderful. I just want to mention to our public, what we experienced was what we refer to as the fast-breaking event. And as you know, on Monday, we issued a civil emergency message warning to let you know that there was a potential for evacuation, and in fact, we had an evacuation 24 hours. I want to thank the public. You were patient. You followed the requests that we made. Hopefully, we made all the accommodations. Sometimes there's a little confusion and information going out, but things were happening so fast, and we worked very hard to make sure that information going out was accurate. The lesson learned here, in addition to the defensible space, is, again, just as we have said before, listen to radio and television. Have your NOAA weather radio, have your telephone on government alerts, so that as these conditions change, you are ready to respond. We just put an all hazards emergency preparedness magazine in the newspaper on Tuesday. That was a little bit of luck. We're not normally that good in terms of planning, but we put that information out in the Naples Daily News as a guide for your evacuation kit should it become necessary. And Commissioner, you mentioned the businesses. They were very, very generous to us. We had to kind of line them up and say, hold on, we're doing just great, and we might need you a little later on. So the public support, the patience, we'll get that information out to you. Ms. Price ran our call center for us in order to be able to speak with individuals, calm them, give them a little bit of information to back that up. So again, we're doing well, and stay in touch as the season goes forward. We thank the residents for being part of the solution, not part of the problem, because without your cooperation, we would have had a much harder time. Please yield to these emergency vehicles. Give us a little elbow room to get in there and work so we can work safely. Last point of mention is Florida Power and Light. We had that team with us very quickly in the event. They were able to de-energize certain lines which contributed to our safety. And overnight, about 2 a.m., I believe it was on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, they brought the cavalry in to come in and work on restoration and rebuild power poles, work throughout the night to get power back on. So they were another part of our team that was very well integrated. So that's all I have. Governor, I'll turn it back to you for any final remarks.
Hey, Bryan, were you gonna?
Sure, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Bryan Koon, Director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management. I want to thank all the folks that have that helped with this. We saw a tremendous amount of cooperation between the federal government, state government, local government. Things went well here in Collier County, but as the governor said and the commissioner said, we've got a long few months ahead of us. The entire state is dry. We need all Floridians to pay attention to fire season. Do those things that can help make sure that we can help you create the defensible space around your homes, just like we do for hurricane season. Build a kit, have something ready to go in case you need to evacuate your home very quickly. These things evolve quickly, and then notice maybe come at very short notice, and be ready to go in those kind of situations. Create a communications plan for you and your loved ones so that you know where they are and how to get a hold of them in case you have to go very suddenly. But as I said before, things went well here. It took a whole lot of effort by all of the agencies involved, but it will not be successful in the future if we don't have the citizens of Florida who prepare and then listen to those warnings and get out when the time is necessary. So please pay attention to these kinds of things because it is critical to life safety and our success in these things. Chief, you want to have a couple words on this?
Mr. Governor, Commissioner, Director Karels, thank you so much for the citizens, on behalf of the citizens. Your local first responders working with Collier County did a phenomenal job over the past week. A lot of work to do, but on a very personal note, on behalf of the Commission of the Greater Naples Fire Rescue District, and specifically, in this case, the communities of East Naples and Golden Gate, greatly appreciate everything that the state assets and officials have done, the county folks, and we could not have done that. And we feel terrible for the people that have lost their homes, but we're very grateful for the hundreds of families that still have theirs. So we will be out there, we'll remain vigilant, and I have to echo what everybody else up here has done, is make sure that you have a defensible space around your home. And next time you see one of your local firefighters and they're trying to hand you a little pamphlet that talks about wildland urban interface safety, take a look at that, take it home, and make sure that you're prepared for that. So we're greatly appreciative of everything that everybody has done for us. Thank you very much, Governor.
Thanks. Jim, did you want to bring in?
Oh, just to close it out, Governor, Commissioner, Chief pretty much covered it. The only thing I'd like to say is you think about what it takes to coordinate a fast-moving event like this. While you're seeing those 100-foot-plus flames, these guys, they're behind those flames. They're in there fighting that fire. They're putting that dozer lines in. If they can't stop it, they try to direct it. They try to direct it around your homes. At the same time, the coordinated effort with FHP, FWC, they're evacuating. The local law enforcement is evacuating the homes out ahead of us. And Kingman, Fire Chief, his people are at those homes trying to protect them as that fire comes in. It's chaos, but it's organized chaos. And I can't say more thinking about what you said about being prepared to evacuate as a citizen, providing that defensible space so we can protect your home. That means a lot to us. We want to protect every home in the state. We want to protect every citizen, and we need your help to do that. Thank you, Governor.
So, I mean, our heart goes out to the families that lost their homes, also to the families that have damaged property. But this is a wonderful community. I know everybody's going to team up and help everybody that was had damaged property. The nice thing is there are no injuries. No injuries of people that live in the homes, and also more importantly, or just as importantly, we didn't lose any firefighters and none of them were injured. Let's all remember this is a dangerous job. This is not. Whenever we have fire, it's dangerous. So everybody's got to be a partner here. What's great is everybody was a partner this time. It is dry. Think about your house, your business. Make sure you're not putting our whole state in a risk that we're going to have another fire. We are dry. We are very, very, very dry. So I want to thank everybody for what they did. And I know we're going to continue to work hard this year. Hopefully we'll start getting some rain and this will stop, but I think that everybody has to expect for the next few months we're going to continue to have a lot of risks. So thank you for everybody for being here.
You're watching Collier Television, bringing government home.